what are we about as a company? I think that, you know, the whole reason that we started Voodoo is because, you know, we see an industry out there in the supply chain, you know, well, I guess you could call it the supply chain industry or the logistics industry. They're not being well serviced by technology today. They're very, very old, staid technology. You know, I mean, sometimes I say to people that their technology is from 10 years ago, but really it's like 20 and 30 years ago. I mean, some of these places are using conveyors that are really, really old, you know, with like little microcontrollers from, actually microprocessors, you know, 8-bit microprocessors from like the 1980s, really. It's terrible. And so my idea in founding the company is that we're going to bring new technology to a really staid old business. And that's a challenge, you know, and I think the reason why, you know, these companies have not upgraded their technology is because it's a very difficult thing to do. People abhor change in general, right? So companies, they really don't like to change the way they do things. The employees don't like the upheaval that change brings. But I think particularly in the supply chain sector, you've got a very big problem because if you try to create a change in a supply chain company or a company that's built around the supply chain, and you bring the supply chain to a halt because, you know, something goes wrong in the upgrade or something like that, or people don't know how to use the technology, you can really bankrupt a company very, very quickly. You know, a company that, you know, depends on moving product every day, you know, if you bring their whole operation to a halt, I mean, maybe they file for bankruptcy in a week. You know, it could really happen. So making changes to that sort of a company is very, very difficult. And it's with a good reason. You know, you look at some of these CTOs and some of these supply chain companies that have resisted change, that are using 1980s technology. Well, there's a very good reason for it, because they don't want to disrupt their supply chain, and they're making the correct choices. You know, they are saying, no, we don't want that technology because it is disruptive. So, you know, for Voodoo, our challenge is to create technologies that are not that disruptive to supply chain, right? That are not that disruptive to these companies. We want to create what I call stepping stones for these companies so that, you know, a company can make an incremental change that is not risky to their operations. It's very important to offer them something like that. You know, you don't want to offer them a huge, well, there are cases where, you know, they need to overhaul their entire, you know, warehouse management system or ERP or something like that. But, you know, that's not the business that we're in. We're in the business of offering incremental change to companies that, you know, offer substantial improvements to their productivity. And so that's why we, you know, have built the technology that we built. And in fact, if you look at our core product, you know, this product is, it's not a disruptive product. It's not something that makes huge changes in a company. And in fact, you can buy 10 of these to start with in a small company and, you know, immediately appreciate some dramatic improvements in productivity with 10 devices. You know, it costs you nothing. So, you know, obviously some of the larger companies need more of these devices than others, but the idea is to give people stepping stones. They don't have to invest a huge amount of money, you know, to try out our system. You know, they don't have to redo their entire operations around our system. They don't have to change the way that they're labeling product, you know, from one SKU number to another or anything like that. They can add our existing technology on top of what they're already doing and find, you know, dramatic improvements in productivity. So that's really what, you know, our fundamental reason for being in business, and our fundamental philosophy is, you know, in order to sell into these supply chain companies, you know, we have to offer them a digestible product.